Hello, everybody. This is Purge, bringing you guys a Purge Castapub. It's been a very long time. I know it's something you guys have been kind of requesting on and off for a while. But quick shout outs to Sander for going through the effort to find me a replay. And also, I believe there was a Reddit thread on the Learn Dota 2 subreddit. It's not my subreddit or anything, just a similar name. But I believe he made a thread there to ask for games. So let's go over the players quick, and then we can start talking about mistakes made and cover some basic aspects of Dota 2 and things you can do to make yourself a better player. So we got Combative Wombat playing Razor. We've got Just Me playing Lion. YouTube-X Mouse is playing Faces Void. Endgame is on Prophet. And the X being played by Peachy. A free camera here. And then on the dire side, we've got Unit 42 playing Bounty Hunter. Ito's Lemma playing Darkseer. Sticky playing Draw Ranger. Adianis playing Abaddon, and Improjigal playing Templar Assassin. Does that cover everybody? I think so. Don't think I said any terrible words. Okay, so when we do Purge Castapub, usually what I'm going to be focusing on is mistakes that people are making, basically, in terms of, let's go smoother. Ooh. Going to be looking at mistakes that players are making, basically, and by doing so, we can hopefully learn a little bit more about how to play Dota correctly. Starting bounty items look great. Oh yeah, by the way, these are, I think, mostly Herald players. Herald and pretty much all Herald and Guardians. The first two ranks. Mostly first rank with a little of the second rank. So we're talking like players with less than 1,000 MMR for sure. Whatever that means. But today we'll find out. Darkseer gonna 1v3 here a little bit. Alright, using your skills definitely helps a little bit if you're into that. But they will get one of the bounty runes at least. On the other side of the map, looks like Lion's having some trouble dealing with just heroes, I think, is what's happening. That was actually a really nice stun by the Lion. I wish he would have gone in for the bounty rune, but he did not hard commit. They actually go 2 and 2, it looks like. Looks like Axe is going to get some harass in here on the Bounty Hunter. Starting item-wise, so everything looks relatively good. This Faces Void has probably too many stat items, I think is pretty safe to say. I would prefer if this was a second set of regen. He's also chasing this guy way too long. He's slower than him, which means that almost no matter what happens, Bounty Hunter is just going to waste his time, and he could be ideally in lane getting last hits. But with that said, he's actually in a dual lane with an Axe, so he's more or less actually supporting this game. And the chasing paid off. He ended up getting an extra 2 hits. Now, normally, this is not worth it. And to be honest, it's actually not worth it. Don't do this. In the mid lane, Razor is sitting here. He's laning against a Draw Ranger. His starting item build is fine. Generally, you kind of want to get movement speed on Razor, though, because in the mid lane, it helps you catch up to your opponent and get more static link sapping. Draw Ranger's item build is completely fine. Lots of agi to start the lane off, and a decent amount of regen as well. Looks like he may have randomed, perhaps, because he's got a Fairy Fire, but I'm not 100%. Lion is already out of regen and get a chance to check his starting items, and Nature's Prophet picked up a Bracer. I'm not the biggest fan of a Bracer pickup, just because the item is... It gives him HP and all, but Prophet kind of benefits just from having a fast boots, because with a fast boots, he can just always be faster than his opponents, and it then therefore becomes hard for them to actually getting harassed into Prophet, and then he can get a fast phase boots, which makes him much faster and deal much more damage. Lion's got to be careful here. Him being out of regen is very, very tough, because then he can't even aggro creeps. Safety reasons why, for safety reasons. This is actually a pretty good dual lane, the Bounty Hunter with Darkseer. It's not bad. And there's a ton of regen on the Darkseer with all these Clarity Potions, so I think this lane seems to be fine, especially because both Axe and the Faces Void are going to want farm. Looks like Axe actually does know how to last hit, whereas Void is a little bit newer, it seems. Just straight focusing on right-clicking. How's our TA doing? 2 points in precision ore now, so +7 damage. Still no boots of speed. The reason you usually don't want to do Templar Assassin as a laning hero is because she kind of needs a lot of levels, and if she's in a dual lane, she ends up not being very effective for very long. Like, effectively what happened is, if you pick Templar Assassin and you go Cyblades level 1, then you are basically a hero that has 200 attack range, and that's all that's special about you, other than the fact that you can do the spill thing. But you're you're just a crap. I guess she has really good stats. This is like a ridiculously impressive number of stats, even though she's already gotten a bunch. She's got great stats, but that doesn't mean she's going to trade very well. So it's like basically the damage block alone is essentially a stout shield. It's 20 per block. A stout shield, if it procs, is 18 damage block. So it's it ain't great. Is this? You know, I don't know how refraction works. Is it pre? I'll have to look it up later. Isn't it just blocks all? I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I'm completely confusing myself. It blocks 3 damage instances. It doesn't stout shield block. I don't know why I thought that. I'm thinking tree armor for some reason. It does deal 20 bonus damage per attack though, so it blocks 3 attacks. But that's, you're talking like 150 health. It's just not a great idea to have it. The cooldown's really long, so if I play TA and I get like level 1 refraction, I use it to last hit or something, it's just not very worth it. There's better heroes you can buy for side, or pick for side lanes at least. Very, very early Hex. I don't know how Drow died, but I'm not going to bother going back in time to find out. It's certainly not worth our time. Using Tango's ASAP would be great. Even if he's standing here buying, you want to get healed up faster. That was a good like 5 or 6 seconds that he could have been healing. But his skill build looks really solid for being able to gap close and kill Drow Ranger. Picking up Gust is really smart though, because now when he actually goes for any static link, she can just turn and Gust him. It'll auto push him away, no matter what. Does it push you farther? It's distance relative to how close they are to you. So if they're farther away, they don't get pushed back very much. But if they are closer, it'll push them farther. But that should be fine for Drow, I imagine. Wonder how they're doing down here in the lane. Oh man, just commit one more last hit. Okay, he's gonna jump away. This does seem like a very new player right here. Definitely very new. Realizing he's taking Iron Shell damage and running away. On the other side, it looks like Bounty's semi-experienced at least. Going to be going for a pull-through. This is really good. So that means any of the creeps that die here, like this one, is going to produce no golden experience for the enemy heroes. Fortunately, he pulled just a little bit early. Oh, looks like it's still going to work out a little bit. Only gets 2 melee creeps through. It would have been nice to get the range denied, because range creeps are worth a lot of golden experience, but still useful to have. Void is waiting. I think this whole time Void actually could have walked back to base and been in a better spot. But at least he's going to get his ring of regen. But he certainly should have walked back to base in this time. On the bright side, it's going to give Axe some solo experience. So they got that going for them. Still just a bracer on the Prophet here. Picks up boots though. Getting some good harass in on these 2 guys. And looks like Abaddon's going to try to keep the TA in the lane, which is very admirable, I must say. But so far, maybe the most contested lane is perhaps the mid one. Oh, is this going to be a kill? Very close. If he had mana for his nuke, he would have been able to get that kill. Sometimes when you're playing a hero like Razor that really wants to fight and trade hits and like win those trades, it's really good to get a stupid amount of regen on them rather than focusing on things like a faster Aquila. Because if you do get that really fast, if you do get an overabundance of regen when you trade like this, you instantly pop salve and then you just stay in your lane, which is overall just a much bigger advantage to have. So generally, I kind of recommend that if possible. I think Lion's playing relatively good so far. He's attacking a little bit too much. Looks like he is. No, he's actually attacking creeps. He's not focusing on denying. There are bounty runes, by the way. Looks like Dire Team's going to get all 4. This is actually a pretty big swing. So we're talking 50 gold per player times 5. Or times 4. So that's 250 gold for each one and 4 sets of that. So that's a 1k gold advantage that the Dire Team just got by getting all 4 bounty runes. That's pretty crazy. Every single player just got 250 gold. That's like getting a kill in some. Bounty runes, man. That's how you win games. Prophet's going to back up briefly and start jungling. Oh, this is actually probably the best Observer Ward I've ever seen placed in my whole life. I didn't notice it until now, but it does spot this area in the trees and a little bit of the actual lanes themselves. Axe getting a kill here. Looks like he just used Battle Hunger maybe and some right clicks, maybe some spins. That's what happened. Avoid hard committing to the right clicks. Is this going to be a soul ring? This kind of looks like a soul... Oh, wait. Oh, that's the old soul ring. Is he building Meteor Hammer? Is this a Meteor Hammer faces Void? Oh, this actually kind of works. You could chrono somebody and then cast Meteor Hammer afterwards. The downside is that you're just not attacking during that time period and you have a skill that does damage based on attacking. But if you chrono somebody, you can definitely Meteor Hammer. That's cool. For a new build, I'm interested and excited. Both. Must have been in tower range, I suppose. Ooh, Prophet having some micro problems here. Maybe trying to right-click his treason and making a small mistake here, but oops. How's he doing? I figured he was going to drum rush, considering that he started with a bracer. For an early player, they generally don't realize this, but usually you want to upgrade your boots first, rather than rushing other items, at least on a lot of heroes. For Prophet, I would definitely agree with that, because let's look at like the cost-benefit analysis for some of these boots. So for phase boots, we're spending, the difference is about, oh god, mental math. It's like 860 gold to get 2 blades of attack. So for the boots of speed, you get, that's 500 gold. Then you spend 860 and you're getting plus 24 damage, which is pretty valuable. You're getting a bonus of about 8 damage. So it's like 50% increased, more or less, damage-wise for the actual cost. And then you also get the movement speed bonus. So a fast phase boots upgrade is kind of way better than something like a drum, for example. Drum gives you a lot of stats, 6 int, 7 strength, 3 agility, and it gives you mana regen, and it gives you 20 movement speed to you and allies, and the treants, actually. In that way, it's pretty good. You can make your treants better, and you can activate a drum charge to make everybody attack and move faster. So arguably, if you had a lot of treants and you popped a drum charge, yeah, you could actually increase your damage by a decent amount. But is it worth it to spend 1,600 to make a drum, or is it better to just get a fast bracer into phase boots, for example? I feel like bracer phase would be better than going back for a drum would be cool. But rushing the item, not always so good, unless you really need the movement speed advantage. Like sometimes if you're playing like Razor, that can be really good, because you can use the movement speed advantage to chase longer with static field. But either way, the Prophet's playing pretty well, so I can't complain that much. Bounty's shifted to the bot lane to gank, and he hasn't really been very successful so far, at least. He's saving up to get an arcane boost, so he has less mana problems, but because this wave is pushing, it's kind of hard for him to even get kills. He's actually upset with his allies because they're pushing, which is understandable. I was just thinking about that. If he's pushing the lane, that means this guy gets to stand under tower, and then Bounty Hunter can't actually use his invisibility to have a credible gank. So he's upset about that, so he's going to go back to the top lane and look to see if he can get a kill. If he just gets an Iron Shell on his hero, and he just stands next to enemies, I am quite sure that he can get a kill here. He instantly breaks his invis while under full creep wave and an enemy hero, which is certainly not worth his time. Spends the rest throwing Shuriken Toss. If he just had an Iron Shell that whole time, he could actually just stand near Face's Void and then eventually kill him, but he kind of like revealed the game a little early there. Abaddon on the bot lane ended up dying. Maybe that mattered, I don't know. Where's Drow at? Oh, in the fountain. Okay, Drow's going for Power Treads, level 6. Looks pretty normal. Got a phase Aquil on the Razor. Last hit-wise, we're not looking great. It's pretty even across the board, though. Not many for Dire, though. Looks like Drow's having a lot of trouble last hitting, but it should be fine now. What I generally found when I used to play, whenever I'd try Drow Ranger when I was really new at Dota, like I had a lot of trouble last hitting with her until you hit level 6. Then it's easy, right? Because you have a bonus, you have a bunch of extra agility. It makes your precision aura even better. So life just becomes a lot simpler once you hit 6 on Drow Ranger. So maybe he'll turn things around afterwards. They're pushing top. Abaddon getting right-clicked here. Seems like Line's doing his job relatively well this game. Going for Tranquil Boots as well, so he's following the meta a little bit. Gets a little Sprout going. How about a Drum Charge? Oh, he's trying to block with the treants. Oh, it's not going to work out. If he activates his Drum Charge there, I feel like he maybe gets a kill, perhaps. Oh, now he's going to murder his own little babies. This is actually a really old cosmetic set. I wonder if this guy has been playing for a long time. At least in what I've seen. This is kind of, maybe not that exact image, but treants are pretty old here. Another kill made. This one was on Drow Ranger. This guy's also going for a drum. It's a pretty good Razor item, honestly. It doesn't give you much agility. That's the biggest weakness of it. But the fact that it gives you mana regen and movement speed and HP and int is all pretty good. Because as a hero, Razor actually doesn't need that much int, or agility, sorry. It's his primary attribute, but it's actually not his highest gain. His strength gain is better. Because you don't really need... The armor is really nice, the attack speed is really nice, but you don't really need the damage from agility that much on Razor, because you get a lot of damage from static links. So agility items are kind of nice, but you definitely don't need them. So buying something like Drum is actually pretty perfect for the hero. I think that's more than fine as an itemization. Now, when you're playing a dual offlane Templar Assassin, what do you do? Probably still the same kind of stuff. I would still probably pick up a Power Treads. Maybe I'd opt for a phase instead, because you're in an offlane, and you might want the movement speed a little bit more to chase people farther. It looks like the Dire team, again, is ahead of paying attention to bounty runes. If you are jungling like this, this is not the way you do it. Oh god, he's going to die. Okay, a neutral did get him, thank god. But I thought Nature's Prophet was going to come in at the perfect moment and get that kill. But TAs finally realize how dangerous it is to kill a stacked camp. Bounty rune wise, did they get all 4? They did, and they got a neutral deny. So I'm gonna call that a hard win. But if you want to kill camps like this, you want to attack them and pull them out so that they have to run back and forth like this. And when they're doing that, they're mostly in a line, and then you stand here and you just kind of keep attacking and do splash attack in that way. So that's a little bit better, at least something I'd recommend. So range creep is extremely drained. What's going on top? Oh, I think Razor is letting the world know that he's on his way to the top lane. Does finally get a point of unstable current. I would have liked to see him get maybe one of this early, because it is 4% movement speed by itself, which is kind of a lot. Let's activate his ulti a little early here. Going for a static link, and actually Darkseer's going to hard commit, let him keep this. Unfortunately, his ulti is not quite hitting the right target. And Drow just doing right clicks is going to secure a kill here. This should be at the end of the fight. Prophet's shown up as well, kind of just dying to Iron Shell. Slowly. Okay, and there's the chrono. Oh, no, Void. No, Void. No. Void, no. Okay. It's got his ulti. He could just ulti him. He could just ulti him. Okay, he does it. It doesn't work. Too little damage with the first one. Did they nerf the damage? 110? It's pretty low. And now Axe as well is also going to die. The vacuum usage was pretty solid there. Okay. Peachy thinks that one's pretty funny. Or at least he's laughing at himself. I'm not sure which just yet. But Drow Ranger did relatively well. Just right-click the target, did what he needed to do. This guy can definitely. Yeah, okay. I was like, he's at the perfect place where he could just be Finger of Death and still die because it doesn't proc borrowed time there. And he was hexed, so he actually couldn't even activate borrowed time. I don't know if Lion knew that he was gonna be able to just kill him, or if he just did it because it was an opportunity and it worked. I'm not sure which, but either way, that's a dead hero. Nice kill. I'm still excited to see what Void buys. I'm still fairly certain that he's thinking about getting. Well, you know what it probably is. I feel like a lot of players that are new, what they do is they just think like, I need health regen, because they get in lane, things get tough, right? So they buy things that do that because they think that's what they need. But in reality, what they want to do is they want to buy things that get them towards that, but that also transitions into an item they need. So for Faceless Void, for example, if you want mana regen, you want to build a Ring of Basilius into a Ring of Aquila. That would be the ideal. We didn't get his ulti off. That was actually kind of big. Ooh, he shouldn't have stopped to attack so early. But I think it's going to be a kill. Having phase boots made a big difference here. If he activates his ulti as he goes in, then his ulti lowers the armor faster, easier kill to get. But yeah, Ring of Basilius into an Aquila, and then he could also buy like a Mask of Death to get lifesteal whenever he attacks creeps would have been a decent idea in my opinion. One way to go with it. Prophet's still farming very well. Finally picks up phase boots, so he's got a great item build. This is pretty much ideal. Maybe throwing a magic stick or something like that, but this looks like a very potential kill here. He's going to have to break the shield any second. Kind of wish they would have broken it a little earlier, though. Oh, he's going for the offensive TP. Here we go. But is Drow Ranger going to turn this around? No. Okay. No. Yes. No. Yes. Oh, this could be bad for Drow now, though. Shield? Shield? Just in time. Is he going to bounce? Oh, he's so dead. Oh, it ran out. Wow. Did that actually just run out just in time? Can you get the Frost Arrow? Oh, yeah, that's a dead hero. And that's going to be a track kill. Unless the Lion stuns him. No, he doesn't. Okay, Drow messed up. If he attack moves there, 100% a kill. Attack moving is where you cancel your backswing on your attack, and then you move a little bit while you're waiting to attack the next time. And it helps you chase people better. Like, if he just Frost Arrows with attack moving, 100% that Nature's Prophet dies. But he kept attacking at, like, max range, and part of the issue there was that he's not going to have marksmanship right now, so he's 100% going to die. Part of the issue is that by being max range, he also didn't get the movement speed bonus from track. But that should have been a track kill for sure. Combative Wombat is only top. I don't understand how the raiding team doesn't just dumpster this game, is what I'm feeling like right now. But in the same vein, you've got a Darkseer who's already got a mech Arcanes. He's going to go Greaves next, so who knows? Maybe that'll make a really big difference in the next fights. What usually happens at lower MMRs is that players will not execute what they have with the resources they have. Just things don't work out basically as well. That guy needed to be shielded big time, and he needs the Arcanes. He's still not going to have mech mana. I mean, they can almost kill Darkseer here. They just need, like, a little bit more. If he didn't Hex there, and he instead used Earth Spike and then ultied, that guy would have died, for sure. But now, not so sure. Line is like always there to help a bro out. It's actually amazing how much like these team fights are just weaving in and out. Faces Void, maxing out time dilation. This is not the ideal skill build. You want to go usually maxing time walk relatively early, but certainly maxing time dilation is not the move. I don't know if he understands how the skill works, is my other worry, but this would be a great time to use it when people are disabled like this. But multiple skill points is usually not super great to have early on, unless you're in the right situation. But I'm just not confident that he knows how it works. Anyways, you need more bash levels to get your chance up. You need more time walk levels to get the cooldown down. That's all super important. In the meantime, though, Combative Wombat has taken his mid tower. He's picked up the agility perk, which is almost always the right move. I think the only time the health perk is better is when you're against heroes like Zeus or heroes that have a lot of magic burst, because then you want to get a hood with the health perk talent, with the health talent, and then use that to just become sort of overwhelmingly survivable. But when you get the agility one, it gives you 3 armor, gives you like 20 attack speed approximately, closer to 20 attack speed, and an extra 15 damage, which is really good for just general carry things that you'll want. This guy died. Kind of looked like he just stood in the creep wave. He got time dilated as well. Don't know if it mattered too much, but time walk. Get that last hit. He doesn't know how to buy boots yet, but he also has 2,000 gold, so it's going pretty well. When he realizes how to spend money, he's going to be a much stronger player. Looks like they lost the bot tower as well. He's got to go for the double stun. He does land it, but this looks like yeah, this is going to be a kill for sure. He'll get another missed coil off at the perfect time. And now Shadowblade on Prophet. Puts his ulti down. This looks a little bit scary for him, but there's actually so many creeps here. Oh no, the Greaves. Oh, that was so sick actually. I don't know if Drow Ranger was anticipating that one, but that was a big heal. Get that tower. Please get the tower. Okay. So scared. I was so scared he wouldn't get. He actually didn't cast the spell, so time dilation has done nothing. He's got 3,000 gold now. I mean, at this point, you might as well just buy a Radiance, right? Surely. Makes me think about Skeleton King a little bit. It gets more time lock bash, so better chance to actually get bashes in. It actually feels like he doesn't even need time walk that much this game, to be honest. Like, if they can't use their spells very well, then do you need time walk? You could just make your damage better and your disable better, perhaps. Not so good for chasing, obviously. I'm very curious what he's going to buy when he finally does buy something. Axe getting the 40 attack speed talent. That's actually very normal if you get a Brown Boots Vanguard, just to go attack speed because your HP is very good. You don't necessarily need the 8 strength. Not that 8 strength isn't great, because that should be like 22 health times 8. So we're talking like, you know, it's probably like 190 HP or something like that. Am I way off? Razor has actually just been making Drow's life suck here. I think part of the problem is that Drow is gusting a little bit too early. She needs to wait a little bit more for the... Or she either needs to gust right away, attack once with frost arrows, and then gust, and then run. And if she does that, then he'll be slowed and pushed away, and in that moment, he might not be able to catch up. But he's actually going a really good item build, basically, for what he's playing against here. This Greaves has actually been so useful thus far. This guy just needs to, like, go invis, because he's not going to deal any damage, and he certainly doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, he does jump on the ground, but yeah, now this is Darkseer that's going to die too. And it's kind of only a matter of time until TA dies, unless TA figures it out. Okay, nope. Not the right move. If he refracted and then went invis again, it would have been fine. Oh, he buys phase boots. Okay. Well, he got boots at least. I can't complain. Phase boots is not the right boot choice for Faces of Void almost ever, because you don't want more damage and movement speed. You have mobility and movement speed with time walk. You can jump forward or backwards to initiate. And you want attack speed, because attack speed gives you more attacks, which is more chances to bash. So him doing 24 more damage with every hit, he doesn't care about that really, because it's better for him to get something that makes his skills better, because that's like doubly beneficial, essentially. Attack speed is more attacking, which is more chance at bashing, which is better for them as a whole. It's like Prophet kind of TPing a little bit aggressively. Does get a Shadowblade off though. He's strewn running out though, and yeah, this is almost for sure going to be a death. He should have attacked once before sprouting if he wanted to be really safe, because then he would have gotten his bonus Shadow Walk damage, but he didn't do that, but it's alright. Blind going super normal items, going for a Blink Dagger next. He did miss skill though. He should have gotten a second point of Finger of Death by 12. It's a little bit of an error there. But Razor running around looking for Phase, Drum, S, and Y. That's a really good build. Makes you super fast. Good at fighting. He's gotten all the right talents. The unstable current movement speed one is usually a mistake because you usually have enough movement speed in almost all cases. So these are definitely the higher win rate talents that I've seen. Prophet thinking about teleporting to check if the bounty rune is there. It's like Lion's going to be in trouble now. Maybe he can save him though. He is tracked. If he just, unfortunately, he's not going to pay attention to defending him, it looks like. But with Razor here as well, maybe they can fight. Ooh. Almost puts him in borrowed time range. But still nothing yet. 8k gold advantage now on the raiding team. So Void's still farming away. I'm still want to know what his next purchase is going to be. We can see the net worths if you guys are curious. I'm not surprised at all. These two guys seem the most experienced. Both the Razor and the Nature's Prophet. They definitely understand what their opponents have item and skill wise. And they know what items they should be buying on their heroes. Even Axe is pretty much the same. Somehow Void is equally as farmed as it. Probably because he just sits top and hits creeps the whole time. But this is a little reminiscent of how I used to hit creeps too back in the day. You just stand there. And eventually you just have items. You know, something like that. No blink, no stun. That guy will live. Blink online ready. He still hasn't gotten level 2 finger. This is actually such a big mistake. Normally it's not the biggest deal in the world, but level 1 finger of death, a level 2 finger of death is massive in cooldown. It's a 60-second difference. You really want a fast level 2 finger of death on this hero. It's actually so important. The other hero that's farming really well is Darkseer, of course. Not too surprising. He seems like another experienced player. Maxing out Vacuum, getting a Greaves. It's a great item build. I think he should go for this. No wall follow-up at a good timing, unfortunately. And he just gets blown up. He was on cooldown for that. They start getting some illusions out of the wall, I guess. These seem to be a lot better now than they used to be. To me. Everybody's just dying. Ooh, he's in a lot of trouble. Now he can't. Oh, he needs his shield again. Cast your shield, man. He wanted while being mana drained, which didn't really help him very much. Because then it just gave more mana to be drained away, kind of. But it seems like things are slightly stabilized. I mean, I don't see any success possibility for the Dire team right now. It seems like they're just way too far behind. Unless Faces Void buys like a rapier or something. I don't know. Void hasn't quite figured out how his talents work just yet either. 2, that's 8, 10, 12. Okay, so he ends up buying a Deso. This is actually another bad Faces Void item. On paper, he's probably thinking damage, right? I'm a right clicker. I should do more damage. But this one actually doesn't make sense, believe it or not. The reason being that he does right click a lot. And yes, minus armor is good to help make your right click stronger. But you don't want to buy this on Void because your bash does magic damage. So if your bash did physical, a Deso would be really good. Because then the bash damage that you're getting would also be increased. So if we do the math, he's got a 25% chance for 125 damage. That means that on average, if we talk about averages, he's doing 30 magic damage per bash, per hit. 30 magic damage per hit, kind of. If that 30 was increased by the minus armor from Desolate, or from the corruption passive, totally fine. But now he's anti-synergistic. It's the same problem with phase boots, basically. He's got two things that don't stack together. Now, it doesn't mean that he wants to buy an item that increases his magic damage. Like, he doesn't want to buy a veil, for example, because it's an item that mostly gives you int, and even though it does increase the magic damage you deal. And he doesn't want to buy a Kaya to get more spell amp, because the int is worthless, and 10% increase for this 30 damage on average is only 3 magic damage. But what he could do instead is buy items that give him a lot of attack speed, and what that does is that gives him more chances to bash, because he's attacking more often when he does chrono somebody, and just as a whole, his hero will do decent damage usually, because you can get things like the 20 damage talent, which he has just picked up. This is a pretty good chrono. He's looking pretty dead though. Misclicked a little bit, gets silenced, ends up dying. A little flustered, but silence is actually one of the solutions to Void for that reason, because then he can't use Time Walk or Chrono or the skills that he needs to keep alive. So yeah, it looks like he's just keeping with the Ring of Health and Sage's Mask. I was definitely hoping for the Meteor Hammer. That would have been pretty sick, but can't always get fully hopeful. This actually could be Razor dying here. Looks pretty likely to me. He's taking way too much damage. And he also can't just turn an attack, really. It's kind of just straightforward over when he's surrounded by that many heroes. Another item that used to be popular on Void a little bit was Maelstrom, because it also does magic damage. But I don't really recommend it now on the hero, because it doesn't increase your attack speed. It used to increase attack speed. It doesn't do that anymore. It just does a lot of magic damage. Recently nerfed to 160, but still pretty good. Looks like the Darkseer is going to go for a Yules after his Griefs, so he's going to have a way to deal with silence himself. He can Yules an enemy hero. Yules is really good against an Axe. If Axe blink calls your allies, you can Yules the Axe, which puts the Axe in there, which means your allies aren't attacking Axe. Very good. Phase Boots on Axe, not good. Don't buy this. He does have 40 attack speed, I guess, so technically a mix of attack speed and damage is usually best for making your hero do a lot of damage. So those two together are kind of cool. I don't know, maybe he's onto something. This looks real wacky to me, though. I'd have to see what his attack speed looks like, because hypothetically, if you have damage and attack speed, it's going to really help him get kills, more or less. Here's Void's massive damage output, now realizing he's going to die. And that looked like it was a TA trap, as well as a Spirit Vessel from the Bounty Hunter that was causing his eventual demise here. Hurricane Pike for a Templar Assassin, not a big fan here. So if we take a look at his attack speed, it is okay. He should... I wonder if he's going to wait for the full Berserker's Call. A lot of times what players do is they think that they won't stay. Well, that's going to be a kill for sure. Get that attack speed in. Another Battle Hunger. Oh wait, this is the same team. I was like expecting the Axe Call to come out. This is a dead Darkseer, that is for sure. Oh, he's got the bounty too. Okay. Not sold on the Phase Boots, but considering it could have been Brown Boots instead, maybe this is better, because it will make you 20% faster for 3 seconds. Maybe better for some of these chases. It's not a terrible idea, I must say. It has some slight merit. But usually you want to spend that gold on things like Blade Mail anyways, because getting the difference between having Blade Mail and Phase Boots being delayed is oftentimes something like 1 kill. Where is Phase Boots really going to help you kill that much faster? It's just going to help you deal more damage to a single target, and you can kind of deal with that with counter helixes for the most part. Really wish Faceless Void had some attack speed. Maybe he'll fall into it a little bit later in items, but I don't know, we'll see. Definitely a new player though. I think that much is clear. Trying to find a bad in here. He's got a Vlad's and a phase of his own. He actually just super juked his opponents. It's pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, the reason a Hurricane Pike's not good, generally. This item is very expensive. It's 4,600 gold. Anything that's like 5k or above is basically a late game item. I mean, if we look at all the expensive items in the game, Scotty's 550, Satanic's 550, Mjolnir's 5,600, AC's 5,200, Heart is 5,200, Manta's 4,800. All these items are really expensive, and this item is pretty much the same. It's not quite as high, it's 46.15, but we're talking about 600 gold difference. It's about 600 gold away from being a really expensive item, and look what it does. It gives you 20 agility. So if you're an agility hero, this gives you 20 damage. It gives you like, I don't know what the percentage is, like, it's like 25 attack speed, 20 damage, 25 attack speed, 4 armor. It also gives you like 250 health. That part's okay, and it gives you 13 int. Does TA really need 13 int? Does TA really need 15 strength? Not really. And is the active that amazing by being able to push an enemy away and give you 4 attacks on them? It's not great at this point when he doesn't have any damage. And he doesn't have damage because he doesn't have a Deso. He's going to build it now. But if you want to buy the first item, buy like a Dragonlance because you really feel like it helps you a lot, that's okay. If you really want to buy like a Force Staff because you're against like a Clockwork or a Ricky and you really feel like you need it, that's probably okay too. But buying both usually feels bad to me because both of the items, stat-wise alone, are not fantastic. They're okay, but they're not by any means fantastic. He should be able to Blink Chase here if he wants to, but he forgot about his Blink Dagger. Both of those items are not super stat efficient. Dragonlance is pretty damn good, but it basically combines for the parts and it gives you +2 strength and it gives you attack range. So it's not a great stat item. So buying Hurricane Pike as a rush, it almost always feels bad to me. But maybe this guy feels good about it because it helps him get out of bad situations where he can escape in times when he should have died. But what's more important is that he buys an item that gives him a lot of raw damage and minus armor. That way he can use that to farm faster. Because Hurricane Pike definitely doesn't do that. And maybe Dragonlance also feels good to this guy because he has trouble knowing what his actual attack range is because he's a newer player and he makes mistakes going for side blade attacks. That's also a possibility. But it doesn't really make it worth it in the end. This is absolutely not valuable. This is a huge item mistake from Darkseer to go for Boots of Travel at this point, in my opinion. Because it's not just a 2,000 gold cost, it's a 2,500 gold cost. If you already have Greaves, it's just not worthwhile getting into Boots of Travel, especially with all these empty item slots. Essentially, he's got 3 empty slots in his inventory that could be something. So something valuable like a magic stick or a magic wand, or maybe he has Ironwood Branch. I don't know, something. But he's got very empty items, mostly because Guardian Greaves ends up taking a lot of value to become its item. Takes a lot of turns a lot of money into few slots. It's a very good slot. It's a slot efficient item. Instead of buying Boots of Travel, he should have bought like Shiva's first, or I mean, he's got a TP scroll for God's sakes. It's not like he's gonna have trouble here. It's just kind of bizarre essentially. Prophet trying to get a kill ends up getting punished for it. It was like there was just 3 heroes there and it wasn't gonna work out. I don't know why he went for it. It was a little greedy. Talent wise, Abaddon's talents are pretty interesting. He went for the Mist Coil talent. Which is interesting. It does 225 damage to his hero and 325 to an ally or an enemy, which actually makes it a pretty respectable nuke. And in some ways, the bonus damage is not bad. Oh, this is actually kind of a cool interaction now that I think about it. So the reason this 15, I'm going to let this fight end, that way we don't have to listen to Static Link the whole time. But this shouldn't be a Razor Death. This talent is actually really cool, the 75 Mist Coil heal damage. The reason it's cool is because if you get this and then you shield yourself, when you nuke your opponent, the shield will also break. So really at this point, if Abaddon wants to, he can actually shield himself, Mist Coil the enemy, the self-damage will break the shield, so he'll deal 200 damage from Aphotic Shield and 325 here. So we're talking 500 magic damage, which is pretty huge amount. It's not a huge amount, but it's a large amount. And because the cooldowns are so low, 4.5 and 6 seconds, this actually makes Abaddon pretty good decent as a damage dealer. So that's one of the coolest things about Mist Coil, is that if you use it in a way that is you breaking Aphotic Shield, it's very useful. That would have been a pretty good time, in my opinion, for him to ulti. I think if he does that... Oh, that's actually just a dead enemy hero. He ends up healing quite a bit in the course of this from right clicks and Mist Coil while his ulti was going on. But after the stun came from line, he should have used his ultimate probably right away, and then most likely used Aphotic Shield and started nuking his opponents. I think that would have been a little bit better. Oh, that's a cool tree. Tree on a tree. But that talent's really cool. And the level 21 is kind of your choice. 90 damage is a shitload. But 20% cooldown reduction is also extremely good, because that would have put his cooldowns at like... 4.8 for Aphotic Shield, and Mist Coil would have been at 3.6 seconds of cooldown. So 20 cooldown's very good, especially on Borrowed Time as well, actually. That would have put it down to a 32-second cooldown. And considering that he has Axe, which increases the duration by 1 second and does the scepter damage redirect, that would have been a 7 out of 32-second cooldown, which is pretty stupid high considering how good the ability is. This is the worst hero that Axe can grab here, because Abaddon's always going to heal, and as he gets low, his ulti will kick off, and then as long as he gets a little heal out of this, which he will, he's going to end up getting a void kill here. Just very difficult to initiate on, not a good choice. And he deals good damage with a 90 damage talent. What is this, 25? 225 Aphotic Shield health, which is incredibly good, and 25% Curse of Avernus movement speed and attack speed slow. Right now it does 20%, so getting that other one would be a 45-45, which is also actually insane, considering... Oh, the debuff is 2.5 seconds, okay. The buff is 4.5, though. Both of those talents are so good. In fact, Abaddon has some really good talents, I must say. These all look so valuable. Oh, the AoE Surge, watch out. That's actually so good. When I played Darkseer a day or two ago, I did not get that. I went cooldown reduction. But AoE Surge is really good. The cooldown reduction one's kind of good if you have a lot of tanky items, like things like Hex, stuff like that, but I think the way AoE Surge seems better. Because being able to surge everybody on your team is such a valuable thing, if they're slowed or whatever. Oh hey, there's a fight. Oh, that's good chrono. He's attacking the worst person because he's a new player. He's also got 2,000 gold in the bank that he's not spending. This is actually a really good fight now. He calls a lot of heroes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They got to delay the fight long enough that eventually Axe got to do a second call. And that's just a one fight. I'm just going to go Crimson Guard next. Super normal. Good build. Void picks up 300 health talent, which is actually pretty normal in the pro scene. The time lock damage one gives you 25 magic damage on average per hit. So that would put your time lock damage up to 225 when it procs, which is a lot. But it's not always great because it doesn't work during magic immunity, for example. Bounty runes getting picked up. Dire grabbing quite a few. 2 at least, looks like they'll get 3. That was 110 each, so that's like 1,500 gold swing that the Dire team just got. They're actually very caught up. I've been talking about talents this whole time, but realistically looking at things, they're sitting relatively happy. He actually did get the Finger of Death damage on Lion. I'm not a fan of this. I almost always get the gold per minute. 120 is a pretty large amount as a support. 200 damage is good. If you're going Ags, it feels really useful. And considering he's buying it second, this is probably fine, honestly, because by having Ags, it's actually going to give him gold. And that's probably the right way to look at it. If you have Ags, your Finger of Death becomes AoE. And with that AoE Finger of Death, it also lowers the cooldown to 20 seconds. So that means like you can use this on creep waves all the time. So in a way, by buying Ags, he generates himself gold. And therefore, by getting the Finger of Death damage, it also makes him justifying skipping the gold per minute talent even better. That said, he could also have Ags without the bonus damage that it gives, because at this point it would still deal 850 AoE damage if he didn't have the talent. It would deal 850 damage. That's not true. It'd actually go up by like 170. It'd do about 1,000 AoE damage. So even by still getting the gold per minute perk, he could still be doing a lot of damage. Still farming a lot. He could have the 120 GPM talent and also AoE nuke creep wave. So probably not needed to get the damage necessarily from a farm standpoint, but in terms of killing heroes, it's really good. 1,200 AoE damage from Finger of Death. That's assuming they're all clumped up, of course, because it's not always going to happen. Usually is not going to happen. And a lot of times, too, the guy that you want to use your finger on is going to be maybe by himself, or maybe he's going to be surrounded by heroes that have Black King bars active. It's usually better to buy, at least if I'm playing line, my second item is going to be something like a Force Staff, or a Glimmer Cape, or a Ghost Scepter, or a BKB, because those are the items that are going to help you stay alive. Because in a normal team fight with higher level players, people will go on you, and at the same time, could this be a kill? Oh man, his attack speed is so weak. If he used his second skill, he would get a kill. Oh, that's painful. If he used his second skill, it would have delayed Bounty's invis and slowed him, and as a result, he should have been able to catch up. But unfortunately, he was not able to do so. I really like Abaddon's items this game. The Halberd pickup is really solid. 25% evasion. 40% chance to lower movement speed and attack speed by 26%. So if this guy starts right-clicking somebody, he's already slowing them with Curse of Avernus. But now with this on top of this, we're talking a potential 46 movement and attack speed slow. And then if he also gets the talent tree, we're talking another 25, which would put him at 71 movement and attack speed slow, just from right-clicking. That's actually pretty incredible if you think about it. It's not viable, really. There's usually a lot of other items that are more important to buy, like Radiance, Lotus Orb. Then you get into other territory where you need other items, but this is certainly a cool pickup. He ends up disarming it. Oh my god. That was a lot of damage being dealt, though. And he's probably just going to die anyways now. He probably, maybe should have turned on his ultimate earlier. Part of the issue is that he's just taking way too much damage. He doesn't have any armor, essentially. He's got a little, he's got a Vlad's. But he's got all this health, but he doesn't have any armor. And this way, getting the Mistcoil heal and damage talent was not good. And if I looked at his items now, I would definitely say he should have gotten the 8 armor talent, because 8 armor is like, it's like 5 times 8 survivability. It'd give him an extra 40% health if he only takes physical damage, which is a stupid amount considering he has 3k. So that's like what 300 times 4, so about 1,200 HP. You could argue that talent would give him. Ooh, Axe with a good initiation here. Good Blade Mail reflection, but no chrono just yet. Yules is actually good for Void here, because now he can jump away. Little AoE from the Lion, but doesn't matter. Not really. Oh, Peachy's definitely dead this time. Okay, so actually a one team fight from the Dire team. A little surprised, but some of the items on Bounty Hunter, for example, make a big difference here. Hey, it's off cooldown. You know, if you want to level up the Finger of Death thing online, I think getting an Ags is a really good way to do it, because then it lowers your cooldown so much. Such a big cooldown reduction. Even if you get it level 1, for example. If you're still not level 2 with Finger of Death, it shaves off 60 seconds. Shaves off 60, 40, 20. So it's worse at cooldown shaving. It's basically... It's worse at cooldown shaving, technically, but having a cooldown at level 18 is still fantastic. Because he could easily use that twice in one fight. The only downside is that he is going to have mana problems instead. And in fact, he did go the +2 mana drain multi-target, which might be the right move in some ways. Because if you have an Ags, you're going to have more health anyways. This is essentially like an extra 380 health or something. 360 health. So it kind of makes up for the fact that he's skipping the 500 health, which normally feels impossible to pass up when you're playing line. But this way, he can mana drain up to 3. He can basically mana drain 3 heroes. Like right now, he's going to get 2 mana drains out of this. And then he doesn't have to spend nearly as much time mana draining. It also makes mana drain in a team fight feel a lot better, because then you're also slowing like up to 3 heroes by 25%. It's not a huge slow, but it's relatively decent. I like it. So seems like a fun build. I might have to try this. I don't. It's still going to be really hard unless if you're winning the game. It's going to be easier to buy an Ag Scepter, but it's going to feel very difficult. Because in moments like this, if he has a Ghost Scepter or a Yule Scepter, then he can buy time at least. But in there, there's nothing he can do if he gets Silence first. There's absolutely nothing he can do. He's going to buy a mech afterwards, and he's also queuing up Guardian Greaves. This is absolutely a mistake. This is not the playstyle of Line. Line is not like I'm going to stand by my team and mech them to heal them. That is not how he works as a support. He's an offensive ganking support. He's an initiator. That is how the hero works, not this defensive stuff. So buying an item like this that costs literally like 5,000 gold, it's not valuable. 5,450, extremely expensive item. Not worth it for Line to buy this item. He needs a Ghost Scepter and a Force Staff. That way if he gets silenced, he ghosts himself and he can't take any physical damage for 4 seconds. And then if he gets a Force Staff, he can at least Force Staff himself away. That would be better. And far cheaper. Ghost Scepter's like 1,500 gold, Force Staff's 2,250. Yeah, so he would spend 3,750 gold instead of the 5,400. It's like way cheaper, and it builds up instantly and much faster. He doesn't even have the mana really to afford mech. Like, yes, he's getting more out of mana drain and stuff, but if he does a lot of Ags, he's going to run out of mana really quickly. So, wrong item choice. The game's still really even though. TA is actually falling into the right items as well. And this is kind of what's happening right now. Is that, fail initiation here by Axe. Gets 4 attacks in, now he's making, this looks very bad for TA now, that's definitely a dead hero. So Prophet does a lot of damage at this point, 40 attack speed, he's got an AC, he's got a Mjolnir. I actually kind of like his build, he does a lot more damage than I thought he would, to be honest. Everybody being disabled. The bash? Nope. And he gets away again, actually. Although he can't go invis. Oh, he just went invis. I see. Okay. He is mana draining him, just not very successfully. Oh, there's some still pushing going on. Did he get it? He did. Okay, I'm so into this. He's slowing him so much. If he just had a Quelling Blade, this would have been no problem. He definitely would have had that kill. He also really needs some attack speed. I think what this guy needs 100% is an AC. If he gets an Assault Cuirass, he's going to super pump up his survivability with armor. He's also going to increase his attack speed because his damage is already relatively respectable. I think that would be the right move. Back on the Radiant team, I really like the Butterfly pickup. There's a lot of right clicks between TA and Drow. So having Butterfly is lots more armor. It gives him evasion. That's all really good stuff. He also went the 10 armor talent. Generally, this is the right pickup. If you have Ags, the Eye of the Storm strike interval is usually better. But in this game, I actually really like the items this guy's going for. This is really fantastic. He's got stupid amounts of armor right now. He's also building an Assault Cuirass to get even more attack speed. The downside is he doesn't have magic immunity. He doesn't have silence solutions. He's basically just kind of a fighty beef hero. But if he does sap a lot of damage, he's got so much attack speed right now that he's just going to blow people up really fast. So that part's kind of cool about his build, I suppose. Void does end up buying another item. Looks like he picks up an SNY. Very expensive, kind of for what it is. In a lot of ways, it's not an item that Void needs. TA trying to get a kill here. This one's not going to work out. Chrono is okay. This guy really needs to use Plasma Field. Okay, he does end up killing him. Wow, that was actually really close. Will Void live? So let me talk about Sanjanyasha as an item. And he does end up still getting the attack speed, which makes sense. He's actually got ridiculous attack speed. Oh, he actually ended up catching up. Okay. I actually kind of like the Janata Critical Strike talent. It's not bad. It's something, it's very close to... This would do like, what, 225? It basically means your Janata crits twice as hard as it did before, which is pretty respectable. If you have any damage items, it's actually amazing. And even here, he's got no damage items, and he just crit for 400 damage. Certainly not bad. What was I going to talk about? Daedalus pick up on Prophet. Now this is perfect. Super increased damage. I don't remember. Items. Oh yeah, SNY. SNY is a... I'm going to pause for a second. SNY is a generic stat and movement speed item. It is for right-clicking, basically. And it is not amazing at stats. It is not amazing at right-clicking. It is mostly a movement and chase item. It makes your hero run very fast, and it gives you some attack speed. It gives you a good amount of attack speed. This is like 35 attack speed or something for Void. And it's like 32 damage. It's okay, but for 300 gold, it's a little expensive. It used to be about 3,900. It's a lot more expensive now. Void does not need this. Does Void need movement speed? No, he does not. He's got Time Walk. Does he need attack speed? Yes. Does he need HP? Yes. Does he need the maim to slow people down when chasing them? Hell no. He's got Chronosphere. That stuns people. That means they can't move. He does not need chase. He does not need movement speed very much. He does not need movement speed slows. He just needs damage so that when you chrono somebody that you can kill them. Or you need utility like Shadow Blade. That way you can find good chronos. That way if it's hard to get chronos, if they see you coming, then at least you're invis, you break invis, and then you pop chrono. That's why people buy Mask of Madness on the hero. Not because of the movement speed bonus, but because it's like the cheapest gold you can spend to get 110 attack speed. In fact, it gives you 120 with the base. It gives you a stupid amount of attack speed. It helps you farm camps without an item like Battle Fury or Maelstrom. And then you buy a Shadow Blade because Shadow Blade helps you find enemy heroes. And it helps, and it gives you attack speed, and it gives you damage, and it helps you deal slightly more damage. So when you find heroes with Shadow Blade and Mask of Madness, you attack them, you chrono them, and then you turn on Mask of Madness and you attack them like crazy, and hopefully they die between chrono. So these items do not fit the hero very well. And in fact, what he needs is instead of Sanjanyasha, he needs an item that gives him much more attack speed. If he gets Deso and then he buys something like Butterfly or Assault Cuirass, I'm much more happy, especially Assault Cuirass would be cool. Because then Assault Cuirass gives him tons of armor, which is fine. There's a lot of right clicks. It gives him attack speed, a lot of attack speed, which is good because he doesn't have very much. And it also gives him 5 more minus armor, so that would make his Desolator even better. Because then the -6 armor here stacks with the -5, that's -11 armor. Now his right clicks are much better. But this guy needs attack speed. If he bought a Moon Shard, I would be happier than seeing an SNY. It's 140 attack speed. It's a stupid amount of attack speed. It's very good. You'll get lots of bashes. Moon Shard could be better here than an SNY, and it costs literally less money. So those are your better options, in my opinion. There's no way Bounty wins this because he is just simply not that survivable. Bounty's bought a lot of good items. He's got great pickups here, and definitely what you need. This looks like a high-level player playing Bounty Hunter, to be honest. And for all I know, it's a Smurf. Who knows? But we'll never know. But his itemization here is fantastic. So another thing that happens sometimes is that, like, here's TA. TA's items at the start of the game were awful. She went Treads into Hurricane Pike Rush, and then she got a Blink Dagger. Terrible. Like, those three together, sort of on the way of what she needed, but not great. And then she bought a Deso, and all of a sudden, and then she bought a Crystallis, and all of a sudden her items look normal. And this is what happens at low MMR sometimes. People don't know what order to buy the items in, and they don't buy them in the right order, and it kills their whole snowball advantage kind of that they could have had. and their advantage that they could have turned out. Or maybe like TA, let's say she skilled all the wrong skill points. Let's say she went 1-1-4 with max side blades. Wrong skill build hurts the hero. But as the game continues, eventually you're going to start landing along the right items, even unless you're like Faceless Void levels of Anu and you bought Deso Sanjinyasha. But the TA, for example, now she's got pretty reasonably good items. And if she plays her hero correctly, she's got the right talents, she's actually going to do a lot. My assumption is that this guy actually does follow pro builds and knows what she should be building, or what he should be building. And this is surely going to be an Orchid, which will then turn into Bloodthorn. And at that point, TA can start getting some solo kills, basically, if executing correctly. So this is something you really got to watch out for at lower MMR. So even so if you're not good at pushing advantages and taking your early game hero to become something really strong in the mid game, then you're going to lose to players like this guy sometimes, because they're probably better than you maybe at mechanics or something, or maybe they're better at farming than you. They just make a lot of mistakes early game, and then when you get late, you just lose games that you shouldn't lose. This is not the chrono he wants. Oh my god, that is such a good call, though. They're so tanky, though. They're actually so tanky. Tia's going to stay alive for a moment. Oh, he gets taunted again. They're literally all dying. I don't think TA realizes that he's alive just yet. How did they win that fight? We gotta go back and watch that. That was so sick. Alright, literally the worst chrono ever. Baited them in. He doesn't even like jump in. He just chronos from range. It's so good. He catches 3 heroes on the back line. They're actually taking like no damage. Shivas comes out. This guy just looks super dead. Tia looks super dead, but he ends up using Meld. Then this guy calls again, which pulls the TA out, but he used Meld Strike. So that actually made him deal more damage. Void's fighting to the death, ends up dying easily. Greaves are kicking in as well, I'm sure. That's part of the reason Templar Assassin stayed alive. And they have a Vlad's, so this whole time they're life stealing. So they end up winning the fight pretty convincingly. And Razor's not there. Razor was in base. Is he AFK? And also Void was not there. It's like Lion is up here. Oh, okay, the Razor is actually just respawning. Razor respawns now. Buys a teleport. Is thinking about teleporting. Could have walked there by now. Now realizes that he's going to have to defend. Lion doesn't have a teleport. He does. It's just on the courier. He's also bought a new boots because he knows he's going to need it for his Guardian Greaves, but no worries. Razor running for his life, now about to 1v5. Is this the game ending? Like, he's very survivable, but he is not that survivable. Between, like, Desolator and him getting attacked once by a Batten, that guy just dies. That was like 45% slow. They mix of magic damage. They had track to chase him down. That was just a straight up dead hero. And I think that's the end of the game. I'm pretty sure. I'm a little surprised, but basically that was like it was a 4v3, 5v3 that ended up winning them the fight. Basically. I guess Abaddon Eggs was also going off when the TA was really low. That was probably another reason that the TA stayed alive. That was a pretty good game. That was a good low level game. Not too crazy, not too throwy. Certainly a mix of experienced and inexperienced players. My game client is out of date. Can I see the game? Can I see the badges? Maybe I was looking at a different game. I think this is the one. Let me see if I can find the actual match ID. Because I tried to look at one in client. Here's one. Let's see if this is the same game. I don't want to spoil anybody because I'll probably do. I was sent 2 of these. Okay, this is a different one. I just don't want to spoil like who the eventual winner was in any of the games. Okay, it's pulling up the same ID, but it must have been an unranked game. Is probably what happened. The other one I looked at, I think, was ranked, so there was actually match IDs on it. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. GPM as a whole, across the board are all right. Obviously, there was a weak GPM out of Void. Lion also had a bad one, weak GPM. Prophet did a pretty good job, but probably needed his team. Prophet has issues late game, kind of just falls off a little, and he did a lot of damage. But if they had a dust or something, they could have gotten kills. Lincoln's was really not needed this game in the slightest for Nature's Prophet. This super inefficient purchase. It blocks like a Hurricane Pike, or it blocks Scythe of Ice. That's probably the best thing it blocks this game. Heaven's Halberd, but he could just bought a BKB, you know. Not that those items probably would have made a difference because his opponents just got really tanky at the end. And they also had the benefit of Drow Range Aura, but I guess it only helped TA, so it's really not that great either. But the itemization across the board was just a lot better on the Dire team, I think is safe to say. All these items together are just really solid. They actually bought 2 ACs as well on the Radiant side. Not that it mattered because the Razor wasn't in the fight, but you know, they had Shivas, they had Greaves, they had Vlad's Aura, they had a Heaven's Halberd, they had Hex. This could save somebody. This could save somebody. 2 Force Staffs. Atos is not a good late game Darkseer item. I don't like this in the slightest, but that should have been like a Hex instead, for example, even though Hex is obviously way more expensive. But just really good 5-man items. They 5-man. They went down mid. They have a Deso. They just cover so many. I mean, so does Radiant, though. Watch out. Very good items as a whole, and it made the game a little bit more straightforward. Eggs is just not very useful unless you get like a 4-man call, which they did, but you know, Lion wasn't there. But that's a pub game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys were hoping for me to just flame the shit out of these guys, there's not that much to flame. So hopefully people that were new ended up watching. All right, thanks for watching.